Hi and welcome to Man Cave Projects. I thought I'd do a basic overview of a general purpose handsaw. So I produced a video for the Man Cave Projects channel on making brick slips or brick tiles from concrete using a silicone mould, and in that I was doing some cutting to make a frame for that silicone mould and pointed out a couple of things with regard to the handsaw. One of the subscribers commented below the video and said, wow, I didn't know that that was part of the saw's construction. So I thought I'd do a basic overview of quite a few tools, but we'll start with the general purpose handsaw. So this is it, general purpose handsaw, almost a disposable item now because they are so cheap that when they start to go blunt, you just really get rid of them and buy another one. Long gone are the days where you bought an expensive wooden handled saw and then once a month go through the process, take a couple of hours to sharpen all the teeth. So the parts of the handsaw, we've got a hole at this end, that's just for a hook or a nail if you want to hang that up in the workshop. We've then got this straight edge, we've got the cutting surface, which is where the teeth are, and then we've got the handle and the shape of the handle, which I'll go through in a second. So this type of general purpose handsaw is almost like an all-round saw, not particularly fantastic at any one job, but does a number of different things. Average number of teeth per inch and size of teeth, so it'll do quite a few cuts. We'll cut wood, polystyrene, insulation block, plasterboard, fiberboard. What it won't cut is metal. It definitely won't cut thermal concrete block, which I caught one apprentice doing once when literally the saw was only a week old. You cut something like thermalite block, it will probably do one, but then you have to throw the saw away. So with one of these general purpose handsaws, you actually get two tools in one, so it's even better value. We've obviously got the general purpose handsaw, which is the main reason people buy this, but we've also got a combination square, and that's why these general purpose handsaws have two angles on the actual handle. So it will mark a 90-degree mark, and it will also do a 45-degree as well. So if you're doing, say, internal studded walls, or you're doing a garden project, it's more than accurate for that type of marking out. Obviously, doing furniture making or anything like that, then you'd need a proper calibrated combination square. But for general purpose use, this marking out is absolutely ideal. So when we look at actually cutting a piece of wood, we need to make sure that the saw is both cutting straight in the sort of horizontal plane and in the vertical plane as well. So we actually need to make two marks on our piece of wood, obviously once we know the measurement. So using this as a combination square as well, let's say that our measurement comes to there, so we place the saw handle onto the wood, making sure, so we just rock it backwards and forwards a little bit so it's flush to this face. There's our mark, so we mark across. So if we follow that line, that's going to give us a good horizontal guide. We then place the blade down and we mark our vertical line, so that will give us another plane to go by, so hopefully we should get a straight cut. I always like to make a mark as well on the waist side of the wood so that I know where to cut, and then I know obviously which piece we don't want. So the first thing to do to cut, and we always look at roughly a 45-degree angle, is I'm just going to the outside edge of our mark, and I'm going to draw the saw back 2 or 3 times just to create a groove, and that'll give us a nice start to actually produce the cut. And what we want is, and normally most of these handles have a indentation here, and that is for your index finger, and that just creates a nice steady grip, and it's a nice action all the way back. Use as much of the blade as you possibly can, and obviously we want it to be straight vertically and straight horizontally as well. So I'm actually positioning myself over the top, backwards and forwards action. So when we come towards the end of the cut, so it's okay with this because you've only got a relatively short piece here, but if this piece was a lot longer, we're in danger of the waste wood snapping off and damaging the piece of wood that we want. So whereas we were doing a 45-degree cut, what I normally like to do now is level off the saw so that there's more of the waste wood in contact with the good piece of wood we want right until the last minute, so there's more support for that piece of wood. And then that's our cut. So as I mentioned before, the other thing that this general purpose saw will measure is a 45-degree cut as well. So it's the same process as before, just make sure that that edge is flush with this face of the wood, and then the straight edge will give us a really nice 45-degree mark to cut to. So there you go, just a basic overview of a general purpose handsaw. This one, by the way, is Spear & Jackson. I do like Spear & Jackson make, but there are plenty out there, and you can't really go that far wrong unless you choose the really cheap ones. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.